Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Real Nerds by Nebulous Visions. I am Ryan. Next to me is...
Brad.
Brad is wearing a Rockies hat today, so he's really cool today. Signed by Chris Iannetta and... Who else signed him? Sorry?
Greg Reynolds.
Greg Reynolds, relief pitcher out of the bullpen, a lefty.
That's right.
So now
Rockies represent.
So we're not only nerds in the movie world, but we love Colorado sports. But you also like the Dolphins, so you're kind of gay that way.
Screw you, hippie.
Yeah, welcome to another exciting installment. It's just me and Brad this week, but that's okay. Our featured movie is going to be Green Lantern. We'll get to that in a little bit. I'll start with movie news, and I'll start on actually a somber note. The producer of the Spider-Man films, Laura Ziskin, she died this week.
Really?
After a long fight with breast cancer, and yeah, it's sad. She's one of the big reasons why Spider-Man made it to the big screen, and she fought really hard for 2 or 3 years to get it to Sony and have Sony make the picture. And she did, but I also was reading a little bit about her because, after she passed away, I was really interested. But she also started the Stand Up to Cancer thing that the actors do. She's one of the co-founders of that organization. And she also produced movies like Pretty Woman and stuff like that. So she's a pretty big producer in Hollywood, so it sucks that she passed away.
And she was producing the new Spider-Man
She was.
movie?
And her husband is Alvin Sargent, who's a screenwriter who wrote the second Spider-Man and helped on the first and third one. And, so it's kind of sad.
Sad day for Spider-Man fans.
Sad day, because, she worked really hard to get Spider-Man on the big screen, because I don't think a lot of people may not know that Spider-Man, it took a long time for it to be made because of all the legal problems, and James Cameron wrote an amazing script for Spider-Man.
I bet he did.
Oh, dude, he made a Spider-Man where his suit was black and had, like, goggles for eyes. And the villains in it were Electro and Sandman, but that wasn't their names. They were like... It's like... In the
Electricity
90s,
guy
yeah.
and...
Well, like in the 90s where they try to ignore the comic book aspects of movies where...
They really try to ground it in reality.
Yeah, but it came across super campy when they did it. Yeah, that's when you read his treatment. That's what it read like. And I remember he was all pissed off that they didn't go with his idea. And I don't remember the specifics about it, but it wasn't good.
Because if there's one thing James Cameron knows how to do,
It's
write a
write
script.
scripts. He is the best script writer in Hollywood. If I had to pick a guy to write a script,
$4 billion
Cameron.
can't be wrong.
I just think it proves how stupid people are and how much they like stupid movies. Like, I still don't think Avatar is that good. I have no
still
idea.
haven't seen it.
Yeah, you're not missing anything. I don't know how it's the highest grossing movie of all time. Actually, I'm excited. It's a kind of double-edged sword. I mean, 3D could be really cool if it's used properly, but movie audiences are kind of telling... if you hear noise, that's my dog drinking water. Sorry, on the podcast. But... they're not really going to the 3D movies as much, because they oversaturated the market already.
And they just keep raising the price on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's already up $1 this year. And, yeah, I mean, there's no reason to even have it. Because especially all the movies that are coming out now especially the summer movies, were shot maybe a year and a half ago.
Mm-hmm.
It takes so long for the special effects. And
they're
so
still
they're
learning how to shoot it.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure I might see Harry Potter, the last one, in 3D because it's the last one and it might be something special. But I'm pretty sure after Harry Potter, the next movie I'll see in 3D will be The Amazing Spider-Man. Because that one's actually being shot in 3D, so it might be good. Who knows? It probably won't add anything to the movie.
I heard a lot of movies people are expecting to come out in 3D, or the director's coming forward and be like, yeah, we're not doing that in 3D.
Yeah.
Like, wasn't Cowboys and Aliens supposed to be 3D? And
yeah, I think it was. And, the first Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1 was actually supposed to be in 3D. When they were converting it, though, the director said, this looks like shit, and I'm not going to do it. And so they scrapped it, and they just put it out in 2D. And it still grossed almost $400 million, so, guess that helps. Anyways, that was my first movie news, was the passing of a cool producer. And, when you think of superhero movies, I guess you really don't think of a woman producing them.
Right.
And so
kind of a man's world.
Yeah, so it's kind of cool that she did that. And
nice.
She'll be missed. Any bit of movie news you want to share? Anything interesting this week?
Not really. Speaking of the Green Lantern, I was hoping for a Dark Knight Rises teaser, and there was a fake one leaked online, and yeah, it was fake, so who cares?
Yeah,
whatever.
it should start to get to that point where, what's the next big... I think Cowboys and Aliens, is that a Warner Brothers movie? I think it is.
Might be Columbia.
Maybe it is. Whatever. I think towards the end of the summer, the big Warner Bros. Oh, maybe in front of Harry Potter.
Yeah, I guess that's the last big Warner Brothers thing.
Because I mean, that's basically almost a year exactly.
Actually, Cowboys and Aliens might be Paramount because
it is.
Iron Man is Paramount.
It is.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm actually thinking that might come out. In front of Harry Potter might be Dark Knight, and I think Spider-Man might have a little teaser in front of Captain America.
I actually don't understand why people are expecting one because they've only just now started casting. Like, how much footage?
Yeah.
Can they possibly have?
Well, how early did the one for The Dark Knight come out though? It was pretty.
It was a year before it came out.
It was pretty. I mean,
they'd also been working on it for maybe half a year prior to that. So
yeah, how long has it? It's been shooting for almost a month now, though, hasn't it?
Yeah, they just casted it maybe 2 months ago. So
yeah, but you can always have. I mean, The Dark Knight when that came out was just the Joker. Well, actually, it was Alfred and the Joker talking was the whole trailer, and I mean, it was riveting enough to get it going. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the remake, Michael Bay. He didn't direct it, but he did direct the trailer for it. I don't know if you remember the trailer. It's a black screen, and it's this girl, like, you hear her running and, like, hitting like she's running across wooden floors, basically, and screaming and panting, and then you hear a door open, she closes it, and you just hear her heavy breathing, and then you hear a chainsaw start. And that's how he sold the idea for the movie, and that's how it got made. Is just a black screen with sound, and it was an effective trailer, and The Dark Knight had an effective trailer where it's basically just the bat symbol being slowly revealed with dialogue, and if you sell the movie correctly, it could be effective. So we don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm anxious to see one, but I just
me too. I'm surprised they don't have a Spider-Man one, because that movie I think is almost done shooting, and I know it's been shooting for a long, long time.
Yeah, it's actually more surprising because it should have
because I mean
plenty of footage by now.
I don't know how long they've been shooting that movie. It's been at least 4 or 5 months, because I remember they took a Christmas break. That's how long it's been shooting. And I mean, you expect movies like that to shoot that long because I don't know how many special effects are in it, but we'll see.
And they're shooting 3D, so it's technically more difficult.
Yeah, and I know that for a fact, though, they cut the budget to $130 million to make the movie. Allegedly. And Spider-Man 3 cost $300 million just to produce the movie.
When you see movies like Super 8 that work on a budget of what, $50 million?
$50 million?
It makes a strong case to say that throwing money at something is not going to improve a movie.
I mean, I think Spider-Man 3 looks pretty amazing. Like the last scene with the Sandman coming up, I think is a pretty amazing effect shot. But also, though, the first Spider-Man I think cost $110 million to make. So I mean, it's the highest grossing one in the series, obviously the demand for it, but still, you really need that much more money into the movie when you can make a super effective movie for half the price.
Right.
Yeah, it's always the argument with that. And my other bit of news is, I don't know if you don't read that much.
I'm an idiot who only watches TV.
I don't know, do you read lots of novels? I never hear you talk about reading novels very often.
I usually... Lately, I've been reading like comedy novels, so I just read Patton Oswalt's Zombie Spaceship Werewolf Wasteland. Zombie Spaceship Wasteland.
What I do like about comedy novels, though, is a lot of times they have like essays and little things, and the two Jon Stewart's America book and Stephen Colbert's book are freaking classics, just because they're so ridiculous, but they're funny. But one of my favorite books, World War Z, is starting to shoot. And this is a $150 million zombie movie, which you don't... I mean, zombie movies are shot for usually like $10 million. But Brad Pitt's starring in it, and they're getting lots of big people. The story is Brad Pitt plays the character in it who... so much noise going on in here right now.
I'm just wondering what that smell is.
It's like Laura's cooking tea or something. My wife. But the story is a guy goes back for the UN and he recounts the zombie infection. And so each chapter in the book is basically someone else telling their story from the zombie plague. And Brad Pitt plays the main character in it. And they just cast Matthew Fox, Dr. Jack Shepherd from Lost, if you will. And who's this one? Oh, Ed Harris. They cast Ed Harris, too. So I think it'll be a pretty big movie. And because I was just reading that they push back the Star Trek 2 is not going to come out in 2012, summer 2012.
Oh.
They just pushed it back, I think, till Christmas or something again, like the first one.
Oh.
So that's a bummer.
Yeah.
So Paramount is making World War Z their like big summer movie in 2012. Well, but I think they have the Avengers coming out in 2012 too, so I guess that would be their big summer movie, which is filming right now too, which should be pretty awesome. So yeah, I'm excited for World War Z. Should be interesting.
Yeah, I'm unfamiliar with the book and everything, so it'll be new to me.
Yeah, it'll be cool. You should check out the book though. It's really good. It's like almost 400 pages, but it reads really quickly.
Oh my god!
But you know, like those books that read really quickly. And I also need to pick up. Simon Pegg wrote a book. Did you know that?
Yeah.
I need to pick up that book. It's called Nerd to Do Well.
Nerd Do Well, yeah, exactly.
So I'm interested because I just read Dick Van Dyke's memoir and I thought it was really fun. And
it's 30% off now at Target.
Yeah, so I'll have to go pick it. Yeah, I should go pick that up because we're big fans of Simon Pegg, and I was first exposed to him on Shaun of the Dead.
Right.
And I
Most
remember,
of us were, yeah.
Yeah, you went with me. We went and saw it at the Mayan, didn't we?
No, I think we saw it at Denver West.
Did we see it at Denver West? I thought I saw it at the Independent Movie. I'm pretty sure we saw it at the Mayan. The Mayan, for those people who don't live in Colorado, is our like art house cinema, and you see stuff like They Call Me Bruce there and Bubba Hotep.
Stuff that's on a limited tour where usually you can get the screening with the director.
Yeah, but we also saw The Road there, and that was cool, except for the drunk guys that were in front of us. But yeah, maybe I saw it at both places. I'm pretty sure I saw its initial run at the
I remember
Mayan.
seeing it, like you and Adam and maybe Cliff.
Yeah.
But I thought that was at Denver West.
Maybe I saw it.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Anyways, it's a good movie, and that's really introduced me to him, and I and those guys. And then Cliff got the Spaced DVDs imported, and I remember watching them on, was it his PlayStation that didn't, or it was his Xbox didn't have regional coding in it or something, and we watched it at his house. And yeah, so that's my movie news. I got to pick up his book and check it out. I think it'd be fun.
Nice.
Yeah, kind of a slow week in movie news.
Yeah.
I remember reading that they offered the Wolverine to some director, and I forget the director. Now I look like an idiot. But whatever.
I'm not like.
I'm not really jonesing for it.
I can't wait for a Wolverine not only am I not waiting for a Wolverine sequel, but one that's also called The Wolverine.
Yeah. Did you see the X-Men Origins? X-Men Origins Wolverine.
What?
Do you see the movie The X-Men Origins Wolverine?
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh wait. Okay, sorry. I was thinking First Class. I was there with you.
Yeah, I mean the
X-Men. Yeah.
That movie again, it suffers from too much going on. I mean, there's moments in it where it's cool, but then
bad dialogue and cheesy effects.
Yeah, like do they really need to CG his claws?
Yeah, I know.
But I mean, there's some cool parts. I mean, I liked some of it, but then it just
I've forgotten most of it.
Yeah, then it gets messy. I got it on Blu-ray when it was $6.99.
Nice.
It's well worth it.
That's $6 more than you should have paid for it.
I used a gift card, so I did not pay for it. My DVD news is I finally got around to watching Cars.
I was going to ask you about that.
And it's really funny. Like, I actually really enjoyed the movie. I think Owen Wilson was really funny as Lightning McQueen. I loved his ka-chow! And my favorite line in the movie is Lightning McQueen is... he's talking to that chick who's the Porsche, and he says, "I give people feelings they don't even know they had." It's so funny. Like I love the redemption of characters in movies sometimes, because in that movie he's hot-headed and he thinks he's so awesome, which he is, and
then he gets put in his place by
Paul Newman. That was Paul Newman's last movie, wasn't it?
I think so.
And Paul Newman was really good in it. I wonder if they recast it like they did Jim Varney for Toy Story. I don't know. I guess Cars 2, though, deals with them being like spies or something, so I don't know.
Maybe he's not even in it.
He might not be.
I
That's
imagine
what I'm
that
saying.
Character would just hang around in a small town, like he wouldn't go out.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess.
Country hopping. But so does that make you more interested in Cars 2 now?
Yeah, it does, because I don't know why I never saw Cars originally. For some reason, it never appealed to me when I saw it.
Yeah, it seems shallow and...
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know why I always doubt Pixar.
I know, right?
It's... I mean, you posted that actually on my Facebook page.
Yeah.
You should never doubt these guys, because... but visually, that movie's spectacular. I mean, there's... and that was a 2006 movie, but when the neon lights are going on and all the cars with the reflections, and when they're racing and...
Yeah, I don't know what like Pixar, they'll bring something out and you're like, oh, that's cool, I might see that, and you forget, aside from Wall-E, like watching that trailer, I was like, I know I want to see that.
Yeah.
But Ratatouille,
Ratatouille is a big one for me because you see it and you're like, oh, it looks kind of interesting, but
and then you go see it and you're like blown away.
Yeah, it's because it's amazing.
Yeah, and then what else? It's Ratatouille.
Even like when you hear Toy
Wall-E.
Story 3, can you even like
Toy Story 3 it's so like they've already
universal.
had 2, you know it's going to be good.
Yeah,
so.
you know it's going to be good, but you're also kind of nervous because you don't know where it's going to go.
Trilogies,
exactly.
Traditionally,
you don't know where it's going to go, but again,
can they pull it off again?
Is Toy Story 3 the best Toy Story? Possibly.
Possibly.
I mean,
a movie where they have the balls to threaten you that the characters might actually get killed off.
I know. I couldn't believe it. I could not.
If they'd done it, I would have been like, "That's fine.
Yeah.
Way to go."
Yeah. I mean, it'd be shocking.
Yeah. I'd miss them, but
yeah, it was cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know why I ever doubted him. And again, that movie was just really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how I decided to rent Cars one day because I realized Pixar doesn't let me down, so I should go ahead and check it out. And yeah.
Yeah,
it wasn't my favorite, but it was still.
Oh no, I mean, I don't know if I could rank Pixar movies because I love them so much.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think Up and Wall-E are really close to my favorites. But then I also have like Toy Story 2 kind of poking its head in there, and then Toy Story 3, and then yeah. I love Bug's Life too. I watched that again recently, and that movie is really cute.
People always give that movie shit, but it's not. They say it's the worst Pixar movie, but. I haven't seen it in a while, but I remember it being just as comparable to, like Cars or...
Yeah.
Yeah, and people love The Incredibles, but...
Yeah, The Incredibles is really good.
It's not my favorite, but it's still really good.
Yeah, I mean, that's like saying they're the worst M&M color, I don't like orange as much as I like blue.
They all taste the same, though.
They all taste the same.
Yeah.
And they're all equally amazing. I also saw Drive Angry with Nicolas Cage. I rented that movie because I was reading reviews for it, and they said it's the most ridiculous movie you'll ever see, and it's pretty close. I wouldn't call it Drive Angry. I'd call Drive Angry through a mediocre script. And the guy who wrote it actually wrote Jason X, and he's in the movie too. And just like he's in Jason X, he also wrote My Bloody Valentine 3D, and he's in My Bloody Valentine 3D. And in the last 2 movies that he's been in, he's always banging some chick. So I think he writes himself in the movies so he can have sex with chicks in the movies. I don't know.
Simulated sex with chicks in the movies?
Yeah. It's bizarre.
That's creepy.
Yeah. The movie, like, I don't know, like, it's so convoluted and there's, like, so many rules. And the whole point is Nicolas Cage died and he found a way out of hell because his daughter was murdered by some crazy cult guy who was using he's a Satan.
That guy from 24 season 2.
Yes, and it makes no sense at all. Like, I guess Satan doesn't like people using him for sacrifice, and so he lets Nicolas Cage basically escape. And
these guys are making me look bad.
Yeah, and that guy, his name's the Accountant, and he's like an FBI agent, but he kills people, and then when people question, like, it's so like stupid, but there's some action scenes that are really cool in it. Like,
I think the point is that movie was basically just made to get 3D out there.
Yeah,
more exposure.
I mean, the first shot that you see Nicolas Cage, he pulls up in his car, and this dude runs at him with I don't remember if it's a gun or a knife. This is how much I remember the movie that I saw 4 days ago, and he shoots it and his hand like gets blown off in 3D, which I imagine might look pretty cool in the theater. Of course I saw it in 2D because I do not own a 3D TV, but yeah, I don't know. But there's this one scene where Nicolas Cage has sex with this girl with his clothes on, and then the bad guys bust in to get him, and he's shooting all these people while he's still having sex with this chick.
So he's squirting...
He's shooting his hot load all over everybody in the room. All
those agents? Gross. Man, that movie really
so yeah, he's
goes
like,
too far.
It's really bizarre. And the reason I rented it, because I read a review. I don't remember where I was reading it. Maybe it was on Rotten Tomatoes, and I just saw like one of the little blurbs. And it said, it has gratuitous nudity, gratuitous violence, and makes absolutely no sense at all. Like, whatever, I'll see it. And you know what? It's gratuitous violence, gratuitous nudity, and makes absolutely no sense. Chris Cooper, no, that's not his name. What the fuck is that guy's name who plays the accountant in it? Anyways, whatever. Anyways, So he's like, I don't know if he puts people under like a hypnotic spell, but throughout the movie, people come up and question him, and he flips a coin that comes at the camera, which I guess should be in 3D. And then when he catches it again,
how sweet would that have been in The Dark Knight if it was in 3D?
Totally. And when
Harvey Dent's like, bing.
And when he catches it, it turns into an FBI badge, and he holds it. And no matter what he did before, everybody's like, "Oh, he's a Fed." Like, he helped Nicolas Cage escape at this one point, this roadblock, by driving a truck into other police officers and making it flip and exploding. And then all these other guys get around like, "Hey, what the fuck you doing, man?" And he flips his coin, and then it turns into an FBI badge. And they all say, "Okay, he's an agent. He's a federal agent." You're like, "Wait, what?" It makes absolutely sense. And this whole time, his job is to get Nicolas Cage back in hell. But then all of a sudden, he decides that he's going to help Nicolas Cage for the last half of the movie. And the first half of the movie is him chasing Nicolas Cage to bring him back to hell. But then he decides he's going to help. It doesn't make any sense at all. And I'm trying to explain it to you, and I'm confusing myself explaining it to you to try to explain these.
Yeah, it sounds all over the map.
Yeah.
I can't even follow you.
Yeah. And, it's alright, whatever. There's naked chicks in it, and blood and violence. And Nicolas Cage needs paychecks because he's bankrupt. A guy who's make $20 million a movie does not have any money. Yep. And I watched Little Miss Sunshine again. That movie's awesome.
Nice, yeah.
I forgot how funny it was. I got it on Blu-ray because it was on sale for $7.99 on Blu-ray. So I'm like, I haven't seen this movie in a long time. It's funny.
Nice.
Miss those kind of movies.
Yeah, I haven't watched it in a while, but
I'm a big fan of Steve Carell, so I'm trying to get all those movies. I remember not liking Dan in real life, so I probably won't get that one.
Yeah, it's been on my Netflix queue for the longest time. It just keeps falling further and further down the list. Because people tell me it's not that great.
It's not that great. I like Steve Carell, even in Little Miss Sunshine, when him and Greg Kinnear have that little back and forth about the steps. It's really, really funny. And he's being all sarcastic about the steps and how he's a loser because he tried to kill himself.
Right.
Interesting. That's what I watched this week. And Spider-Man 2 again.
You've been busier watching stuff than I have.
Yeah, because I've been working so much. I just get off work and I'm like, I just want to watch something. And TV sucks right now. And so I watch SportsCenter, then I put in some random movie lately. So anyways, we'll come back and we'll review Green Lantern. In the meantime, enjoy this little ditty from our sponsor.
Come on, Scruffy, let's go play ball. Come on, Scruffy. Wake up, boy. Time to play. Scruffy? Scruffy?
Does it break your heart to hear a child saddened by the death of his dog? If so, then the Canine Replacement Society has the solution for you. Simply trade in your cold, dead former best friend towards the purchase of one of our state-of-the-art robotic dogs. These dogs are nuclear-powered and won't die until long after you've passed on. Robotic dogs are programmed to fetch, roll over, and most of all, to love.
Okay, Collie B59C, catch the frisbee.
I will destroy you.
Call the Canine Replacement Society today at 1-800-555-1234. Canine Replacement Society, a division of Oscar Mayer.
Wow, that was incredible.
I want to buy that.
I want to buy it too. Do you know what we're buying yet?
It doesn't matter, right?
It doesn't matter. It's awesome.
Whatever we advertise is worth buying.
So yeah, welcome back. We're the main one we're reviewing this week is the Green Lantern. Of all the movies this summer, I was most concerned about this one.
Oh, hold on. Let me play the trailer.
Oh, yeah. Here's a trailer for the Green Lantern.
The great light has gone out in the universe. Worlds annihilated. Lanterns, we face an unprecedented danger. An enemy powerful enough to destroy entire civilizations. To fight this enemy, the Ring chose a human. But I don't need to tell you your duty. Your name?
Hal Jordan.
The Ring chose you.
Take it.
Speak the oath.
Speak the oath, because everybody knows the oath. I pledge allegiance to a lantern that I got from a dying purple alien.
So, this is the chosen human.
The ring turns thought into reality. Its limits are only what you can imagine.
A sword. Oh, human.
Remember, your enemy is not gonna play fair.
Is that what I think it is?
An alien life form, Doctor. The first that mankind has ever encountered.
Son, we're gonna get you well again.
I've never felt better in my life.
They said they wouldn't have chosen me. They didn't see something I don't see yet.
I see it. You had the ability to overcome fear.
Stay here.
No problem.
If you die, innocent lives will be lost. Your world will be annihilated.
Help me save my planet.
Fight it. Fight it with me. Brightest day, blackest night. No evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power. Green Lantern's light!
Of all the movies this year, I was really concerned about this one. As you can tell by the trailer. I don't know. You know...
Ryan, are you familiar with the comic book?
I am somewhat familiar with it.
Somewhat.
I mean, I read enough about comic books. I know that this ring chooses its wearer, or who bears the ring. How would you even say that? The wearer of the ring?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I guess. You know, so I know it chooses the hero that it's supposed to be on. I know that they are like the police of the space world, and each one has a little world that they defend, and Hal Jordan defends Earth. I knew that about the comics. I knew yellow was bad, and green was good, and yeah, that's about what I knew about it. I knew Sinestro was good, and then he was bad. And again, this is all just what I read in like Wizard that is not published anymore.
Right.
And
that's about all I know about Greenland. I've never really followed it.
So. Either did I. And you know,
I was hoping this movie would help me get interested in it. And
yeah,
after watching it, Ryan, what is your opinion of the Green Lantern movie?
You know,
does it succeed in honoring what you do know about the comic book?
Well, it didn't teach me anything I didn't know. You know, when I'm watching it the whole time, I'm doing this the whole time. Meh. Like, I wouldn't say it's a terrible movie, but it's not a movie that I really enjoyed.
It's no Batman and Robin, but it's no...
Yeah. I mean, for me, comic book movies, you have The Dark Knight and Batman Begins, Iron Man and Spider-Man are kind of the ones that are...
The upper echelon.
And then you start trickling down, and I mean, the bottom of the barrel is something like Howard the Duck or... Which do people know that's a comic book movie?
Ghost Rider.
Yeah,
Batman and Robin.
Batman and Robin more so because
he
had a Batman credit card. What's that about?
Yeah.
But
dude, yeah.
But it's somewhere in the middle. You know, it's kind of the same as Superman Returns, where it's not like a bad movie, but what does it? You know what I mean? Like, it
doesn't bring anything new to the table.
It doesn't bring anything new, and you know sometimes it seems like they're trying to make you relate to Hal Jordan so much at the beginning that it was just clumsy writing. When his dad died at the beginning, they wanted to give him daddy issues. It actually reminded me of Hot Shots, where his dad... This is, I think, the third time I've mentioned Hot Shots in our podcast, but in Hot Shots, Topper Harley, Charlie Sheen's dad, is a hotshot pilot, and he dies in a mission, and that haunts him throughout the whole movie. And yeah, it's basically the same story in The Green Lantern. I have no idea if that's actually Hal Jordan's story, but to me, I don't think it is, because I'm sure I would have read something about his origin. I know he's a test pilot. So yeah, I don't...
How long does the movie take to make?
A long time.
Really? I thought they announced it last year and it came out this summer. But it felt like, to me, the whole movie felt really rushed.
Yeah, well, there's times in the movie that the special effects look spectacular. There's some parts on Oa, the Green Lantern's home planet, that I thought looked really good.
And a lot of the creatures, like the Green Lantern Corps, I thought, as far as, CGI characters, were really impressive.
Well, yeah, like the fish guy who trains him, I thought looked really good.
I thought they had a lot of depth and texture.
Even the Kilowog, that's his name?
Kilowog?
He looked way better than he did in the trailer. Mm-hmm. Like, he had way more... in the trailer, he's like kind of pinkish, and in this, he had a lot more colors and texture to him. Mm-hmm. But then sometimes, you'd watch it, and one of my biggest pet peeves with movies sometimes is why do they have CGI characters when they're not necessary? You know, like when Mark Strong is giving like one of his many monologues in the movie, and he's like turning and looking around. Why do they make that a CG character? Why can't it? Over there. Why can't it just be him? I don't get that.
Yeah, or close-up shots where Ryan Reynolds is in the suit or whatever, and you see like the neckline of the suit is kind of like floating around.
Yeah.
In a close-up, like why can't he just wear an actual
Yeah, it doesn't seem that hard to me.
Suit.
And
they could still like put like the energy lines over.
And correct me if I'm wrong. It doesn't cost more money to make a CG shot than it would be to have an actor stand there.
Yeah, I mean it's a close-up shot. Half the suit's not even going to show up on screen. So
exactly, and that's why.
The mask, like in some shots it's there and sometimes it's not. And I think the end is the only part where you actually see it dissolve on his face.
Yeah, I thought
that was confusing.
Yeah, because
when he first gets there and he gets the suit like engineered onto him, and then he's walking along the mirrors, checking himself out, and then when he turns around, it's just gone. When he's talking to what's his name, the fish guy.
Yeah, they said because he doesn't need to protect his identity here. But I thought it was funny, when Blake Lively, her character, was it Carol? Was her name?
Yeah.
She said, "Yeah, I recognize you just because you cover up your cheekbones." I mean, that's kind of funny because
right.
that's always been my thing with Superman and stuff. I mean, how would you not? And then it was funny that he did. There's some scenes I liked. I liked when he tried to do the Batman thing where he changed his voice and and he talked really gruff but she still knew it was him. And
there are a couple funny parts in it like that.
When he flipped off the guy, it was funny when he was putting on the ring.
And here's the ring, yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I can't. And so you know, that's,
you don't know what else to say about it.
I don't know what else to say about it. It's not that I hated the movie. Well, I don't know if I'll see it again. I don't know how I feel about it because there's parts that I enjoyed, but there's other parts you just. There was. And why did his nephew who wouldn't enjoy his birthday party because he thought his uncle was dead? That they happened to have a newscast as soon as he walked in the door.
I know. How often do you see newscasts about like
test pilot?
Test jets out in.
Where were they? California, I guess.
Yeah.
Filmed in New Orleans, but takes place in California. I guess they're never really that specific with it.
And he, I guess it's a good thing that what's his name, Abin Sur crash landed in that area, so that the ring didn't have to go far to find him and then drag him back to. Because what if he crashed, like in Florida, grabbed Jordan, pulled him back to Florida, and then after he's got the ring, he's like,
"Fuck."
You
know what I think?
He hasn't said the oath yet, so he has to drive back to California and then start the lantern.
Is he knew exactly where to tell his friend to pick him up. He got dragged there. His friend showed up. And he was ready to go.
Hey, that piece of land with the beach?
And then they really didn't understand why they got all scared when the military showed up. Because to me, if he was a military test pilot and he found that, I think he would still call it in and say, "Hey, I found this." I don't think you'd hide from it. Maybe you'd hide the ring or whatever, but
yeah, hide the ring, but be like, "Yeah, you guys should take that dead body and
do something with it."
And Tim Robbins, he's like the cliche.
Yeah, Tim Robbins cliche, and then Angela Bassett. Why was she in the movie? So she'd get killed. But she didn't die, I guess.
She just got washed away.
She just got washed away. Oh yeah, she did.
She just disappeared.
Literally washed off screen. But yeah, it's a really hard movie to review because it's not like one I hated, but it's also one I didn't enjoy. I don't know.
Also, wasn't like the Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds like romance scenes. I was
just seemed tacked on. And sometimes it's just unnecessary. I blame Spider-Man for a lot of comic book movies that have that. Because the Spider-Man and Peter Parker Mary Jane relationship worked really well in those movies. So now they always feel like they have to put those on because it worked so well, and now it's just...
They didn't... The only way they built that relationship was just by having the characters on screen saying, "We've known each other for a long time."
Mm-hmm.
And that's about it.
Actually, I was thinking about that. Remember in the bar where she says, "So I checked the diagnostics. What happened to you there?" He's like, "Thanks for the dance." He just leaves her there, but she came there with him, so he literally just left her there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then the next scene, she's not really that mad at him.
She doesn't. She doesn't chase after him when he goes to the parking lot, gets his ass beat up.
Yeah, so the whole time, she must. I was expecting the next scene for it to be that cliched. You just left me at the bar after you drove me there to have a drink, but
I'm trying to remember. There was another scene where it's just like it cut away and left everything behind it. What was it? Keep talking while I think about it.
Yeah, I mean, that was just a big little thing that I noticed pretty bad with it, Just, and it's not really the actor's fault in it, because it's not.
I think a big part was the script. Like some of those lines that they had, some of the lines that they were saying were
because
just
I even think
so typical.
Yeah, if the script was stronger, like Ryan Reynolds was fine as a character. Like a lot of people might have complained about him, but I thought, to me, he seemed like he was a cocky test pilot, and he got this power, and
Did he ever abuse it like early on? Like
no,
because they you usually see that in a lot of superhero movies where they get.
I mean, you're probably talking about this is another scene I had a problem with. So he goes on to Oa, gets his ass kicked by Sinestro, and he says, "I quit." And then he goes back to Earth, and then when Hammond's character, Hector Hammond, shows up, he's like, "Well, I'm going to fight again." And all of a sudden, he's a hero again, and he just basically, "I quit, but now I'm not going to quit because I decided I was going to turn a helicopter into a race car."
I think that's funny. I think the movie was actually self-referencing itself, that it didn't have enough good ideas. Because he's sitting down with his geek friend saying, "Yeah, a race car track. That's the best you could do." I felt like the movie was commenting on stuff like, "I just saved a bunch of lives, and you're complaining that it was an unimpressive race car start."
Yeah, I mean, there's some little clever things in it.
Yeah. Self-referential.
Yeah, but
I thought Peter Sarsgaard as Hammond, like when he was not transformed yet and just being like a creepy nerd
Science
character,
guy,
I thought like he had these like nice little touches.
Yeah, but then when he became like the bad guy, is like, oh,
and
how
yelled for the rest of the movie.
How cliched can I be?
Yeah, just acted tortured and
but yeah, you're right. He had like that little hunch thing, and another thing is where it's bad writing, where he can read people's thoughts, and what they're saying is he's such a failure. That's what people are thinking when they're talking to him.
Yeah,
false.
Because when I'm in between thoughts, I'm like, that Ryan.
Yeah. When I'm sitting here, I'm like, Brad thinks he's so smart. Look at him just talk about, I don't even know what. You know what I mean? Like,
look at him run the podcast.
Yeah, he's running the podcast and pressing buttons.
He thinks he's so
He
great.
knows so much about computers. And then you have to look at me all intense, like you just knew what I was saying, that you were pushing buttons. And exactly. For people listening at home, he just did
Ryan reading my thoughts?
An amazing rendition of someone reading my thoughts. But I mean, that's again, we talked about this I think last week. I don't like lines that they talk down to audiences. Like, really, we had to know that Hector Hammond had daddy issues, and that kind of just sprung on you too, that his dad was a senator. Like, oh hey, by the way, I'm a senator of the special committee that.
Yeah.
It's probably just too many hands in the pot. With, I mean, there's 4 credited screenwriters. Really need that many?
What was another line?
Why don't you just have Jeff Johns write it, who writes the comic books?
He might have.
I'm sure he was in charge of like overseeing it.
Like, I saw him in the producer credit, but I don't know about the writing. I can't remember.
Well, you'd hope that he would have some control over it. I think that's why it
well,
referenced.
If he's producer, he definitely does.
Well, yeah, I think that's why it referenced like The Brightest Day, because I don't know, is The Brightest Day always part of the oath? I have no idea.
I don't. Yeah.
And, when what was the name of the bad guy? Parallax?
Parallax, yeah.
When he was going down buildings, it looked like just giant shit just pouring down buildings.
I do have to say, because you're comparing it to Galactus, the effects of Parallax were much more, believable than
but
Galactus
so looked like
with
turds.
CGI. Yeah.
But no, I agree. And at least the Parallax had like a character, where Galactus was just like this cloud.
Yeah, well, the movie version.
Yeah, the movie version. I'm still going to make, if I had my way, I'd make a Fantastic Four movie where I would have Galactus show up like he does in the comic books. Just because. Because people already accept that. That's why I think it's so funny sometimes these movie guys think people won't accept comic book characters for who they are, and they always do. I think that's where sometimes Hollywood's out of touch. I mean, even like someone like Iron Man, he's exactly how he looks in the comic books, and people are like, yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Well, The Dark Knight, the new Batman movies are even more grounded in reality than they used to be.
Yeah,
and they made a lot of money, so that's like that's their winning argument. But then there's Sam Raimi takes the robotic technical web slingers off and makes it more of a chemical thing, and so that's where in support of your argument. But at the same time, that's not the comic book. So
I mean, even though you can say that Nolan's are more grounded in reality, where I still think Batman, besides like the new Batman stuff, most of his stuff's pretty much grounded in reality anyways, because he doesn't really have too much fantastical villains. I mean, Mr. Freeze and stuff, but like the Joker's always like a thug, criminal, mastermind, crazy. Two-Face. I mean, Two-Face, I think, and actually in Dark Knight is pretty close to how he is in the comic books, where Tommy Lee Jones' version was way, way over the top.
Ham City.
But I think the Two-Face in Nolan's is actually, I think, really, really close to the comic book version. So, yeah. I guess you could make arguments for both.
Yeah, but
I think that's it can backfire too because.
But I think it just works because that's Batman's world is.
Yeah, I mean, it's the crime
reality
world
to begin with. Yeah,
so you can have cool elements from it, and I do apply. I mean, Green Lantern. It's hard to make a movie like that because you're taking a huge space science fiction thing and trying to make it accessible to everybody. That's hard.
Yeah. With a character that has almost limitless power, too.
Yeah,
That's the frustrating thing is, because those Green Lanterns tried to throw...
that didn't make any sense.
They first try to fight Parallax, their best idea is to throw these green chains on him.
Yeah,
and wrap them up.
That's what also didn't make sense, too. So, how many did Sinestro bring with... I couldn't even count them all. There's like 15, 20 of them that fought him. And so Hal Jordan's able to fight him all by himself?
Yeah.
And he's not even really used the powers before. So does that mean he's the best Green Lantern of all time?
I think so.
Well, they actually, that is actually my least favorite part of the movie, is I didn't mind the opening where the dude was narrating, like, where the Green Lantern Corps came from. That's fine, because it'd take way too long to set it all up. But then at the end, where he says, Hal Jordan became the greatest Green Lantern of all time, because blah, blah, his humanity, or whatever.
Being human, while thought to be his greatest weakness, was also his greatest strength.
Exactly.
It's like a Michael Scott line.
Yeah, I think that's actually, you just quoted it almost verbatim. It is. That was really unnecessary. Again, talking down to the audience. Wow, his humanity saved everybody. And isn't it funny that the only person that Hal Jordan saved when Parallax was swooping through the cities and eradicating a bunch of people was the one black lady in the whole movie?
Angela Bassett was the black lady in the movie.
He saved two of them. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm talking about when Parallax is going through and he's, like, eradicating people and people are, like, turning to skeletons, and then that black teacher gets all the children away, then she trips and falls, she's like, no! And then all of a sudden Hal Jordan shows up and he saves her and she's able to run away.
Right.
Of all the people that are eradicated, the one black lady made it through. Maybe they're saying, because, in horror movies, a black person always dies first. Maybe it's like the...
Turning it on its head.
Turning it on its head. Not that I'm being racist. I'm just saying I think it's kind of funny that...
Come on, Hal Jordan. Save some white people.
Yeah, save white people. They're all getting, vaporized as well. So if he could do that quick, why couldn't he do it to Hal Jordan that quick, too?
Yeah, I know, right?
Because Hal Jordan's will is really strong.
I guess. That's the problem with this type of movie is... You don't know exactly what the rules are.
Yeah.
Like, it bends them, it stretches them. When you think you know where the line is, the movie pushes it aside just for convenience sometimes. It's frustrating, and it just kind of takes you out.
Yeah. Especially a ring that can make anything. I mean, if I was in a fight with Sinestro and he pulled out swords, I'd be like, sweet, bazooka.
Granted, at that point, he's just got it, and... He's never in his life had to think about...
But if you're a test pilot, once you shoot, like, missiles or something, just saying.
Yeah, it might be the first thing you think of, yeah.
I want to think of a sword.
Or just, my thing is, if you can think up whatever you want, can't you just,
And couldn't you think of another Parallax just as strong? Like,
yeah.
That's what I think of. Fight.
A green, a will-powered Parallax. Or, generate the bomb inside Parallax and then explode it.
Yeah, so that's
instead
part
of
the
throwing
rules,
projectiles at it. Yeah,
maybe the things can explode. I don't know. maybe they can only shoot projectiles.
If you can create anything, I could just create an explosive. You know?
I mean, I guess theoretically. I mean, he created a machine gun, so I guess he could create that.
He created the bullets to put in the machine gun to fire at the gasoline tankers.
You know what? Maybe we should read some Green Lantern comics, and
I guess. But we shouldn't have to. The movie should explain it clearly for us.
I know in Mortal Kombat versus the DC Universe, the Green Lantern makes fists with a...
Yeah, that's like his staple.
Yeah.
Probably in the early comics, the writers were creative enough to get that far.
To make a bigger fist to punch people.
Yeah. It's probably really easy. Easier to draw.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say about the movie. I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't think it's terrible. I don't think it's great.
It's mid-range.
It's mid-range. Yeah,
to me, it's about as interesting as Thor. Like, they're kind of...
Yeah. I think Thor was better, but... Because I think it's maybe because Thor was written better, where you like the characters more.
Yeah, I'd say... I guess, yeah, Thor's side characters were a little more...
Yeah, because, I mean, Hal Jordan, Ryan Reynolds was fine.
I was going to say, I thought Chris Hemsworth's character was charming, but also Ryan Reynolds wasn't that bad. He doesn't have much to
it's
bounce
the
off
writing,
of.
I mean...
He's got this nerd friend who you don't really understand. Like, there's no sense of a lot of... Like, you get a sense that, they're friends, but, that guy's kind of in and out, and he has no weight to him. He has no arc that they're covering together, and then Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively, there's a lot of exposition, like, oh, we used to know each other, and
then,
they never do much of anything together except, kiss on screen and stuff. And then Hammond doesn't show up until 30 minutes into the movie. He's just thrown in there to become a character at the same time that the Green Lantern's becoming characters, so they're simultaneously, like, their storylines are building, but they never really interact until he has to have his first fight. So there's no, like, at the end they make this big deal of that this nerd guy wants to be more like athletic Hal Jordan. He's feels like a disappointment all the time, but they never did anything together early on, so you don't know. Like, it's just people saying stuff to give you information. You should feel bad for this guy because we're telling you so.
Yeah, and if he can read thoughts, why do you know Hal Jordan was lying to him about the ring? You think that he just accepted it willingly? Oh, cool, a ring. You can't read Hal Jordan's thoughts, though. Maybe Hal Jordan put a green force field around his brain and he was able to read it. But yeah, I think
maybe fear doesn't...
Maybe.
Keeps you from being able... He's too afraid to read Hal Jordan's thoughts.
My biggest problem, again, the fight scenes were kind of cool, but I didn't like the tacked on daddy issues. And then his whole family hates him, and they happen to be watching the newscast where he gets out of it and he's just walking into the house.
Yeah, where'd they go?
Yeah, where'd they go? So it just seems unnecessary that they're there, and then his nephew happens to be super close to him. And
so is that his brother?
Yeah, that's his brother.
And his brother wasn't they never reference his brother being at the tarmac or whatever when his father dies. Like,
exactly.
You think he'd be there.
You think.
Yeah.
And
where's his mom at the whole time?
I mean, how cheesy was it when his dad's plane crashed and he was running to see his dad say, "Dad!" and the dad looks at him and it blows up at that right time.
Spoiler.
Yeah. His dad dies in a plane explosion at the exact moment where Hal Jordan calls for his father, and his father, they look at each other in the eyes, and then he blows up. Or is that just the way Hal Jordan remembers it? Maybe it wasn't that way at all. And that's what I have to say about Green Lantern.
Do you think people should go see it?
Yeah, if you want to see a superhero movie, I guess. I mean, I don't know. It's all right. I mean, I would go see a matinee maybe, so you don't have to waste all your money on it.
Yeah,
you don't need to see it in 3D. I don't really... Was there anything in there that maybe made look cooler in 3D? Maybe the credits?
Maybe the parallax tentacles.
Oh, maybe that would look pretty cool.
Maybe the fist thing. Maybe anything he generates out of the ring that flies across the screen.
I read, though, it's not that impressive in 3D. Because, again, it was converted. It wasn't shot in 3D. Next week we're seeing Cars 2.
Is that our movie for next week?
It is. I don't think anything else comes out. I think it's just Cars 2.
Right on. I was seeing that.
Yeah, I think the next time I see 2 movies in a week will be July 1st. I'll be seeing Transformers, even though I don't want to, and Larry Crown with Tom Hanks.
Right on.
I'm excited because it's Tom Hanks' first directorial movie he directed since That Thing You Do, and I love That Thing You Do. It's one of my favorite movies, just because it's lighthearted and fun.
Have not seen it.
Dude, fail.
Sorry.
I thought you liked Tom Hanks.
I do.
And you don't even watch a movie that he stars and directs in?
No.
And wrote?
I'll get to some. I'm not going to not watch it, but it's just never really... I've never been sitting around like, man, I just got done watching Saving Private Ryan. I really want to study more Tom Hanks.
It's time to do That Thing You Do. So yeah, I'm actually excited for Cars 2 now that I like the first one. So yeah, that's about it. Anything to add, Brad? Do we miss anything? Because I think when we're talking about it, it doesn't sound like we should tell people to go see the movie, because I don't remember us...
No, I'd say if you're a Green Lantern fan, maybe go see the movie. I'd have to go... neither of us are comic book fans of Green Lantern, so I'd be interested...
Do you know somebody who's a Green Lantern fan?
Yeah, Jesse.
Oh yeah, he's a big Superman and JLA fan, so maybe.
Yeah, so once he sees it...
Yeah, maybe ask his opinion and see what he thinks.
So until then, I would... my impression is that I think if you're a Green Lantern fan, you'll probably like this movie. Probably. But I don't know what they got right and what they got wrong, so...
Well, Mark Strong, he can do really good monologues. Seems that's all he did in the movie.
That's what he did in Sherlock Holmes, too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of that...
I'm going to be the villain, and you're all going to follow me. It's kind of what he does.
He's not the villain in Green Lantern. Wink!
Stay after the opening... Wait.
Stay for the first part of the credits.
Yeah. The cool part of the credits.
Yeah. And
not the scroll part.
Not the scroll part.
Unless you want to see some comic books at the end.
Oh, that's right. There's comic books. Tells you to read comic books. That was cool.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
But as like a uninitiated moviegoer, Green Lantern.
It seemed like people in the theater really were enjoying it.
Yeah. But I don't know if they're fans, like originally fans or not. So as someone who, is uninitiated, like I didn't leave the theater going, I want to know more about Green Lantern, and I didn't leave going, that sucked.
Yeah.
So
if we're rating it on a scale of 4 stars, I'd give it 2. Because I didn't hate it. I didn't think it was...
Yeah. It's just middle of the road.
Yeah, middle of the road.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm Ryan.
If people want to respond to your comments, Ryan,
what should
they do?
If you want to hit me up on Facebook, you can look me up on the Real Nerds fan page, or you can look me up as Ryan Frost. I'm on the Real Nerds fan page there too. Or you can email me at rodstew2@yahoo.com. That's RODSTEW 2@yahoo.com. Or you can visit one of our amazing websites, nebulousvisions.com and sphyrexsdomain.com. Brad spells Sphyrx Domain for people.
SPHERXDOMAIN.com.
He had to really think about that, and that's his character he created.
I don't trust myself to just write.
This is a guy who...
It's a lot of letters.
Yeah, this is a guy who, when we play Cranium, though, that you do really well on the backward spelling words.
Because I can see the word.
But you can't see a word that you created and...
In my head. Sometimes stuff from up here, gets a little messed up coming out here. And
Gotcha.
I don't trust myself. I do make mistakes. I'm not afraid to admit. SPHERXDOMA... See, I already got lost.
Brad, you don't make mistakes.
DOMAIN.
And then in my brain, because you can read my thoughts, I was thinking, he makes mistakes all the time. When is he ever going to learn?
He threw me off course. And if you have comments about the previous podcasts, you can also reach James on his Facebook page. I don't know what his email is. So.
And I mean, we've already had some colorful comments about how I'm a pretentious prick.
What?
Yeah. That was like the first thing. He said, Frosty, you pretentious prick. That's the first time I've ever been called that before.
By
Matt. But,
that's right. Yeah.
But good thing he's listening. Thanks, Matt, for listening.
What else?
If you can think of any other derogatory comments, please send them my way.
If you want to hate on Ryan Frost, please contact
me.
the trash can.
Hey, if people aren't talking about you, then even if it's negative, then people are still talking about you.
Exactly. You're still giving him power.
I am.
Find the Real Nerds podcast Facebook page and
you can also find Real Nerds on iTunes.
You can use them. Yes, you can
download it for free.
Download this for free from iTunes, and I feel like we're forgetting some really big point of advertising, but I guess I should just let it go.
Just remember, nebulousvisions.com for all your Real Nerds needs. Brad's thinking really hard about something.
Oh, God. It was...
Or he has to fart. I don't know what it is.
I got distracted. We're missing some... We're not covering something, but...
We didn't say people can contact us through your Facebook page.
Yeah. No one cares about me, so forget that.
I care about you, Brad.
Thank you. Yep. That's all I got.
So. Yeah. Sweet. See you next week when Cars 2 comes out. And cut.